Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the XWF podcast with your host, Chronic Chris Page, them no good bastards, Thunder Knuckles, Bobby Bourbon, and yes, if available, Bearded War Pig. And the action starts now.
What is going on, XWF Universe? Chris Page here for another episode of the XWF podcast, coming to you live and in living color from a very wet Tampa Bay area. Joining me, as always, the current reigning XWF World Tag Team Champions, them no good bastards. We've got Bobby Bourbon. We've got Thunder Knuckles. Guys, how's your week been? TK, let's start with you, bro. What's going on?
Oh, living the dream, doing what we do every day.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hear you. Good weekend, I would hope.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Mr. Burbs, man, what's going on in your neck of the woods, brother? How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. I went out to a bakery today, and I walked in and walked up to the person at the cash register, and they just none of this actually happened. I'm okay.
Oh well, I was actually looking forward to the ending of that story to see where it was going.
They weren't
Uh,
known.
we are actually, guys, we're without Ned today. He couldn't get away from real life to join us on the show. So we're gonna kind of throw this old school, man. It's gonna be the three of us. Originally, we had a guest lined up who, uh, for better words, decided to no show the appearance today. Um, and in his place, cards always subject to change, right, guys?
That's right.
That's what they say.
So, right, and when cards subject to change, like you can't replace that guest with a guest on that level. You have to give them more bang for their buck, right?
I mean, that's the
So
best way to market anything, right?
yeah, you gotta go above and beyond, and that's exactly what we've done today. You've got legends in this game that we love to play, but then you've also got icons, and our guest falls into the latter. Ladies and gentlemen of the XWF podcast universe, let me go ahead and bring him in. We all now know him as the king of the XWF, two-time March Madness tournament winner, Triple Crown winner, Universal Championship, Extreme Championship, and a Tag Championship under his belt. A very, very good friend of mine that we've gotten to know a lot about each other over the last couple of months. Here he is, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you Doc. King Doc, man, welcome to the show.
Hello, my friends. Thank you for having me.
How's life treating you?
Life's treating me wonderfully.
Doc, and I mean, I know that you've talked to Burbs and TK off air, just like myself, many, many, many times. But welcome to the show, TK. Man, the king is here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you on, Doc. Appreciate you giving us your time.
Hello, Doc.
What?
Thanks for coming on the show, man. I know this is last minute, but you jumped in there, and can't say more past that.
It's my pleasure, fellas. Anything to help, anything to move the show along. Glad to be here.
Well, let's just talk for a few minutes, Doc, because I personally have only been familiar with your character since I've come back into the Fed, but your legacy here far exceeds that. When did you first come into the XWF?
It would have been August 2014.
All right, man. Since then, like you've been on and off by like everybody, and it's hard to go 8 or 9 years without taking a break, man. But walk us through, like, when you came into the Fed, how long did it take you to rise to the level that you are now? Because legit, you are probably looked at as one of the greatest of all times in this modern era, and I think it would be very safe to say that of all time.
You're too much.
No, I'm not, and I think that I mean TK and Bobby. Am I wrong here? I'm not just trying to suck your dick on the show, dude. It's legit. The stats don't lie. You know what I mean?
Right. No,
Oh,
He's a humble king.
no, I come in 2014, and things were a lot different back then. As you guys probably guess, under different management, of course. And a lot of the guys you see, kind of running the shit right now, runs used to role play and be very active participants on the roster and everything. Vinny Lane, Theo, and those were actually one of the first two guys to really make contact with me when I first came to the Fed and everything. So been friends with them guys for a long time, and made me feel real welcome and everything when I first come in. It was kind of on a whim. I felt like writing again. I didn't e-fed for a long, long time. When I first did, it was on America Online back in like 1997 or 98, all through email and
so we're like probably only two of the legit guys that did the email feds.
right.
I don't know if there's many more of us out there. I think we've talked about that privately. That's fucking hilarious. So,
Yeah.
continue on, man. That's good shit. That's a
Yeah,
throwback right there.
just in a random wrestling chat room, as a 12-year-old wrestling fan back in the day, you see something pop, want to join my Fed. I'm like, what the hell's a Fed, And back then, now we have like, a lot of wrestling games on PlayStation, different consoles and stuff, the WWE 2K games. Back then there wasn't really any wrestling games.
Right,
And
right.
I thrived for one. I wanted one so bad, and this was like the closest thing. I'm like, oh, I could be one, and it wasn't really much of a storytelling aspect back then, but more of a just a wrestling promo thing. And
The generic
the
days, as I like to refer to them.
say again.
The generic days, as I like to refer to them.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
The cookie cutter promos that come out in email packages.
But back in like 2014, there when it was just one of them things where I don't know if these things even still exist. And you did a Google search, and I was one of the ones that found that top 50 site that we vote for time and time again there, and I seen I think XWF was pretty close to the top there, where there was two or three, but I don't think it was number one. But I went through a couple there and just kind of looked at the layout and what it had going on, activity, and just XWF just stuck out to me so much. So I joined and come up with my character, Dr. Louis DeVille. Started writing, and it was actually really, really fast how things kind of happened. I think people took a liking to the character and everything, and I really enjoyed writing them. And I didn't evolve right away, but I had that foundation of that character and everything, just kind of grew on them, and things just kind of fell into place. My first real big match, I think it was my third or fourth match, was against Gator for the television title, which I lost. And it kind of set the bar for me, I guess, on how I had to do things and everything. Because after coming in and being undefeated and everything, you have this mentality like, okay, well, where am I going to take this character and stuff? I see this place is a lot different than what I'm used to, with them, like we brought up the old email feds and stuff, that just the interaction and everything that we have going on in this place is just unparalleled to anything I've ever seen. And it's great. I've been here going on 7 years now, and I can't quit.
Well,
you
let's
know,
let's backtrack for just a second. How did you come up with the Doctor Deville character? What inspired you to get that together? Because that reality, that's when to me it's creepy as fuck.
well, I think the character Doc was always just always a character in my head because as a 12-year-old wrestling fan back in the day, you always dream of being on that stage and everything like that. What would you be, and everything like that. And it was one of them things where I said, well, I think this. I've always been really into horror, creepy shit all the time and everything. I read a lot of horror. Watch my horror collection with movies is excessive.
Right.
But coming up with Doc, I mean, I pulled from a lot of muses. I always kind of liked the creepy doctor aspect, and one thing that really like turned me on to that. I don't know if you guys ever you're familiar with L.A. Noire, the video game.
I'm aware, yes.
Well, there's a doctor in that game. There, he's real Cajun and just kind of has this ominous presence about him. He's up to no good, but he's a doctor, of course, and he helped soldiers from I believe it was World War II or World War
Yes.
One,
No, it was World War II. I
with
played
like
the game.
PTSD and stuff like that, and like kind of involved quote unquote medicine to help them and stuff. And it was actually like no spoilers to anybody that didn't play this game that's 10 years old, but it's a big story arc about how this doctor's like doing all this weird shit. So
Mhm.
I kind of a lot of that kind of I pulled a lot from him, and of course like I think the first role play I ever wrote, I had Silence of the Lambs playing on my television as I was writing, just to kind of, not that I based my character off of Hannibal himself, but just kind of get that smooth vibe and that creepy vibe from him.
Which you succeeded.
Pardon?
I said, which you've succeeded.
But uh, I mean, when I first come up with Doc, he is completely different than what he was back then. As a handler, a writer, and everything, I've evolved because that's what you have to do in the XWF. You have a character, and you only take that character so far until you hit like that plateau. In your writing with your character, with your arc, whatever storyline you have going on, you always beat that plateau. And if you want to continue to be relevant or even continue to climb here, you got to adapt, you got to overcome, you have to evolve, which was difficult. I mean, how do I didn't know how to evolve my character because we have a lot of elements that go into the role plays, the storytelling, the entertainment, the trash talk, and everything. And when I first come in, it was really hard for me to have Doc have that type of dialogue to really go over it with the trash talk. And just, I guess practice makes perfect. I mean, I don't know. I reading a lot of other material and just seeing how a lot of other guys that succeeded here went about things and everything. I took pieces from a little bit of everybody and kind of molded it into my own, into my character and everything. And
Bobby Bourbon, let me ask you this. When was the first time that you came across Doc in the XWF?
Came across or faced?
Well, both.
I think the first time I faced him, it was at the tail end of a tag team tournament. And what happened was the titles were vacated for some reason until I found them in the trash. And I just claimed to be the tag champions while everybody was having this actual big tournament to determine who the tag champs were.
Because why not? I mean, really? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I got you.
So, Doc and Unknown Soldier, they won the tournament, and then I'm sitting here without a partner, and I have to face Doc and Soldier by myself. It's not something you really wake up in the morning and you're like, man, I really hope I lose terribly because I'm going to get bodied by two very creative minds versus my somewhat creative but twisted mind. So I recruited a partner, and we lost to Doc and to Soldier in that match. Shout out to Scully. But I've been following Doc ever since I showed up in the Fed. Like when I came into the Fed, the big story was Doc, Vinny, and Gator. And I was just this weird little like mid card guy who showed up and tried to act like a 60s Batman villain. And that didn't shake out. So I just went face and that shook out. And ever since then, like I've just been playing with the Doc character. Like Bourbon and Doc have a weird. Their stories have crossed paths, but they've never really had a big head-to-head or like this big payoff or any kind of like big feud. They've just always been around each other. So that's when I came in. That's when I found out about Doc. Was way back when I first joined the Fed, and he's been a staple ever since. And I love reading his work. He's always somebody that you can go talk to about your work and just bounce ideas off of. He's always very cordial and well thought, well spoken. So, GK, you have anything to add?
No, I've just been following Doc since he came back here recently. I've only been in the Fed for a year, and I love Doc's work. Bravo, Doc.
Was this was this the tag titles that the Soldier kind of dipped on? And is this the angle that I was told that like way back in the day that Doc would carry Soldier's body to the ring and still defend the tag titles?
I don't think I ever. No, I never actually did a match, but I like my storyline and my work, my role plays and stuff like that. I'd make sure that I carried his carcass around with me everywhere.
Creepy
Yes,
bastard.
that is the same title run.
Well, talk to me
Basically,
about.
he just
Go ahead.
basically he just vanished, and I had an ultimatum. I either was going to just drop the titles, defend them by myself, or find new partners. That's when I hit up an old friend of mine and got to talking, and I had already won King of the Ring a year or so prior to that. So once you're a king, you're always a king, quote unquote, type thing. I was talking with Theo Price, and he said, "Well, we can bring a couple kings back and just have like our kings thing going on, and we'll freebird the titles," which worked fine for me. I'm not a huge fan of freebirding, but I think it works when because like we used to have the trios titles, and I like to, if the situation comes up, to even expand to that sometimes and defend the titles and stuff if you have that thing going on, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I thought it was a pretty good heel move to do, hang on to the titles and stuff and bring Theo in. Theo's a great heel too, what he wants to be. And it was one of them things where what do we do that's better for the Fed? You know what I mean? Do we vacate the titles again, have another tournament, or build off of what we have? And I think we went in a good direction because the King's coming in. We had a couple other stables popping up. Kings feuded with and everything, and it was a nice way to carry on, I guess. Probably the best way.
Well, it
save
keeps
face
the
for
story for
Yeah.
keeps the story for the belts going.
Yeah.
I mean, the Feds always had a downside when it came to tag teams up until it seems like here recently, but it's almost one of those things that you don't want to talk on until you start seeing the tag team division itself start panning out. So any kind of clever route to go down to keep the belts relevant is always a good direction to go. But this actually led to the King stable, right? Like the stable of you guys coming together was based off of the tag titles, which is very interesting. And I mean, who was the third for the King? I knew it was Doc and I knew it was Theo, but who's the third?
We actually had four. It was myself, Theo Price, John Madison, and John Samuels.
Okay, I'm partially familiar with John Madison. Um, Talk to me about your first Universal title. How did all that come about?
Well, I had a friend back in the day there, some guy that kind of goes unannounced a lot, L.H. Harrison, Hysteria. I call him Rhett out of character. He was a great dude, always kind of chased up the GM role because he was all about the storytelling and stuff like that, and just writing great matches and carrying storylines on and on and on. I gave him a lot of credit for creating the Asylum back in the day. Basically, it was him just creating an army for this higher power, and there's always this ominous presence they talked about, off to the side, never revealing who that was. And it carried on for a couple of months. You would do, random attacks and just kind of build to that while I had the extreme title. And back then, the rules for the extreme title were a little bit different. You pretty much just had to carry it for 8 weeks. There wasn't really any minimum defenses or anything. But I carried it for the 8 weeks, got my briefcase, and just kind of bided my time. I can't remember what show it was, but Morbid Angel was Universal Champion at the time, and he was facing Gator at a pay-per-view. And as I said before, I come in strong, was feeling pretty confident, and I took a loss to Gator for that television title. So that kind of automatically threw Gator and I into this. Well, pretty much made Gator my nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
So we fought a couple times. I think in between that, yeah, I believe so. In the King of the Ring tournament, I faced him in one round, and I couldn't pass the opportunity to cash in on him. He beat Morbid Angel for the title, and the way the angle panned out, Rhett made it look like that Morbid Angel was the higher power, but within the same thought, Doc comes out and is revealed as the higher power, cashes in on Gator, wins the Universal title.
Such a dick move, but so
I
good.
know. Oh,
That just sounds so fucking evil and just great at the same fucking time. I mean, you've had a long road here in the within the XWF, and now versus then. How are you liking things based off of what you've seen since you've come back?
you guys have heard me say this before. I think the XWF right now is the best it's ever been. Uh, just the roster. This podcast adds to it tremendously. It's so much fun. Just everyone's interaction. The community's great. Everybody's getting along great for the most part. You don't hear about just any weirdness going on behind the scenes, or it doesn't seem like I've seen a lot happen here,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, there's a time there were times where it's just like, man, what is going on? But now,
I've had. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say throughout stints here, it's definitely been a roller coaster. It's had its ups and its downs from John
A lot of
Brown
ups and downs. Yeah.
to Shane Carver to now. There's been a lot, but go ahead. I didn't mean to step on you.
Even issues with the site and stuff. I mean, it's an outdated kind of setup and everything like that. And we've had issues with that, just with updates and stuff like that. But I'll always come back strong. Always had that foundation of people, that core that has always just kind of never let go and stuck around and just stepped up when it needed to happen and everything. And now, just like I said, with all the interaction and just the strong roster we have, quality of writers, storytelling, it's definitely the best I've ever seen it. I'm so happy to see that. All the work everybody's put in. Since I've been here in 2014. I'm proud to be part of it.
We I think I agree. I think this is one of the strongest rosters I've seen throughout my 10 years in and out. We're coming off of March Madness, where a lot took place. We saw that Drew Archile ended up being under the Anarchy mask to take on Chris Page. We saw them No Good Bastards take the tag titles. Saw Ned K take the Heart Championship, and Marf as well won the television championship. But King Doc is coming off of the second time, the only two-time winner of this tournament. We're coming into Wednesday Night Warfare. It was April the 7th. We were live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. King Doc, man, I'm going to throw it over to you for the opening segment. This is your inaugural Warfare as the two-time king, and you're right. Once a king, always a king.
Yeah, I figured I'd make my presence known, I guess. I didn't really know if I did win, the tournament and everything like that, what I really had planned and everything. I didn't know if I was gonna take a break or what really was gonna happen. uh, One thing that caught my ear a couple weeks ago when Vinny Lane was on the podcast, you guys were talking about March Madness and everything. He kind of wanted to see something happen with it, and Vinny's my homie. I want to please him the best I can at all times. So, like, well, if I win this thing, what am I going to do? And I mean, it's no secret that we talk backstage and everything like that about stuff all the time, and share our ideas and everything. And I think just having Doc's presence on the shows and everything, just to kind of, either A, rub it in everybody's face, or B, kind of uh, see who wants to be part of it as well. You know what I mean? The unbiased king, he'll take anyone that wants to come and bend the knee. And I kind of put it out there that anybody that wants to interact with Doc during the shows and everything are more than welcome to. Just for fun, you know what I mean, or to build on something. I just want to make this thing something really fun for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, when you became king, and you're right, and TK and Bobby, you guys feel free to chime in on this. Like, we do share a lot of ideas. We do talk a lot. Did this King Doc thing just went in a fucking I know what to do with this to like probably 7 people throwing ideas your way. I know that I was one, and I know that TK and Bobby. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh, I just really like the idea, and I'll do anything to help get it over personally.
I think large collaborative projects where you tie in your character to other player characters, segments on shows and stuff like that. That's that's what makes a segment magical. Like you can have a solid segment where you just write up this entire thing, and you and your character and your stable all is just present. But when you get something like this, where it's just the melding, we've had that buildup. We know who Bob is. It's been established. We've had those segments where the new characters and other characters are getting integrated into Bob, and we established that. And now there's another step, and it's not the two Bobs one. There's other examples in the past, and other examples currently happening. But you go to this, and then you have Doc meeting with Bob. You have this bigger event, and it's just more of it just it makes it more three-dimensional. It brings it into a different kind of scope. That way, what you're experiencing in the storytelling, it's more. I don't want to say it's just a novelty, but there is a novelty to it. It's like, oh man, like these characters I've been reading. Well, now they're doing this interaction, and here it is. And what is it going to do? What are the implications of these people talking behind the scenes? And then it gets the mind going. Well, who can I be talking with? I mean, it takes me back. It takes me back when I first started here, when we all first started. You don't just jump in and all of a sudden, with rare exception, you don't just jump in and have a big program with whoever's at the top of the card. The way I'm looking at all of this, it reminds me of when I first started in the Feds, seeing everything that's going on, and like, you got to go find other new people to work with. Like, hey, buddy, they're doing this big storyline. You guys want to work on something? And you hash it out. And then by no means do I consider myself like the preeminent expert of storytelling or anything like that. I have yet to talk with anybody here in the Fed who will tell me that they're the best at telling a story. But everybody I talk with is all agreed that when you get to work with somebody else, you wind up telling a better story. And this all folding together, who else is getting folded in next? What are other people doing now that they've read this? So that way they can start growing themselves, fertilizing their stories. Um, yeah, that's what I take away from.
Well, that's what we did here. We, King Doc shows up. He opens up Wednesday Night Warfare and introduces out, his champion, which is Chris Page and Bob. We come out and kind of do our thing, and we build up this nice little promo to present the King of the XWF his own sword.
Doc's Caliber.
Doc's Caliber. It was presented, and the bigger piece of business here too is CCP and Bob taking the knee for the King. There's no shame in that, and showing that their allegiance and their loyalty is for his success. As they even offered themselves as the King's court, which was not accepted nor denied. So King Doc, when you were presented with your first gift, they always say that they only get bigger from here, right? Doc's Caliber
Right.
is in the mix. What was were your thoughts as King Doc with the massive army that Bob is professing their allegiance towards you?
Well, I think it's great. I think it's great story building, and it leaves a lot of questions. Doc was just tag team champions with Continuum, who them no good bastards beat for those titles. The same show that Doc was crowned king. So, with Bob, me presenting Chris Page as his Universal Champion, as his champion, and bringing Bob out and accepting the knee, accepting the gift and everything. Well, is Doc Bob now? Is Bob Doc? What's going on here? So I think that leaves us a lot of space to build. And anybody that knows Doc knows that he always kind of has an agenda. Is this going to pan out? Is Doc just looking for something? Or, like before, like I said, I had my army before whenever I was climbing the ranks. Is this hindsight for another climb? Who knows?
But on the flip side of that, we all know how vindictive and malicious Chris Page is.
Exactly.
Is it a game? Is it a game on that side of the coin? Like, I mean, we don't.
Exactly.
There's a lot of storytelling that can happen here, and like, I really wanted to take a minute to talk about this because, like, guys, if you're listening, build upon this. If you don't jump on the notion of doing a King Doc segment, I hate to say this, and I'm gonna say it in the nicest possible way, but you're fucking stupid. Like, it's this. There's so much potential there for so much character development on so many different levels with every character on the roster if they were to interject themselves into it in some form or fashion. We move into our first match. It's Marf. It's Ash Quinn. It's a tables match. Unfortunately, Ash no showed, but the match is what it is, and was what it was. Marf walks away. New television's champion walks away by putting Ash to the table. He's taking this victory. We'll open this up. Bobby, is there anything you want to talk about as far as the Ash Quinn Marf tables match is concerned?
Well, Marv defends his title successfully in his first title defense. Can't really say anything else after that.
It was non-title, but he definitely picked up the win. TK.
Should have been for the title.
Well, like it. Can they do that? Can they defend the TV title on a?
I know it's on Warfare, but they could have just dropped that announcement. It's like, oh, this will be for the title. Like, here, your first successful defense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. TK.
It was to be expected that Marv picks up the win here. It was a good, fun little match to read. And then we had some stuff happen after the match. What happened here?
I don't know. It's probably somebody who's not here anymore.
Oh.
No,
Well,
this is a Ned segment.
there is a Ned segment.
Well, the
Yeah.
Ned segment. I thought you were talking about the post match, but it led
No, we
to
don't need to worry
a
about the post match right now.
yeah. We do have a Ned segment.
We're going to edit a lot of this out because this is. Oh, it is a Ned segment. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
You've hit the bong a little too hard today, brother.
It
But I ain't
sounds
mad
like
at you.
it. Sounds like it.
I want let's talk about Ned K for a minute. How impressive has this guy been? Like legit over the last, from my perspective, like since November, before November, going into high stakes. I think he's really upped his game. And this is a segment put together that explains why he's done what he's done. Doc, do you wanna talk about this one for a second with Ned K and Avalanche?
Ned K, like you said, has been impressive the last couple months. He's coming into his own, and it's one of those things. Being in the Fed so long, you get to that point where you just want to see, you know, guys that come into the Fed at a certain level rise to that next level. And whether that's through storytelling or just improving in their work and everything like that. And not to take anything from Ned, but you guys were just talking about Marf. He did the same thing. When Marf first come in, he evolved so much since then. He picked up his first title there at March Madness. Ned K, he's been in and out of the Heart title scene here a little bit. Picked up the win at March Madness. And through his work through the month of March and everything like that, we just seen here recently, it's been updated. He is Superstar of the Month and also received RP of the Month. I've never seen that before. It's very impressive. And I give that guy all the kudos in the world because he deserves it. And I just like to see, I like to see people like Ned who puts in the work get rewarded for it. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of him, and I'm really looking forward to what he has going on with this Avalanche stable that he's created here. His heel turn, I love character development. Anything that is going to spring you to the next level, whatever it takes for you to take that character and mold it into something else, something that works right now, and what fits you, what fits your narrative to go forward. I think it's impressive to be able to do that because it's very hard to take a character you're so committed to, depending, wherever you get your ideas from or your muses and everything, if it's based off yourself or based off, a thousand other ideas or characters, to take that and evolve it and stay relevant in the XWF and grow. It's great to see, and it's very impressive.
Well, this segment was definitely setting up the stages for the Avalanche faction, ultimately entering in two of the members in the tag team turmoil. Uh, Not a whole lot to really go on there, but Bobby, I want to throw it into the next segment, which is Mickey Kincaid, excuse me. Since there's not a whole lot to jump into on the Ted situation, unless there's anything you want to add to what Doc just said.
Well, just what Doc just said about growth and how your character can advance. A lot of the XWF, like your character is, and your character is what they done. I always joke about like, oh, don't talk about your resume and RP stuff like that. Like in this game and in this Fed, like the accomplishments that you can rely on that go back to the relevance of the Fed. Like yes, we know Ned K is stats. He's this tall. He does these moves. He does this entrance music. He talks this way. He said this one time. But then you go into what he's actually been doing and how that goes into the greater story that is the entire XWF, which is that's the story that we're all a part of. That's growth. That's where, just to take it off of what Doc was saying, The Kincaid segment. TK, did you read this well?
I did. What? Okay, so this is. I like this because it looked like Mickey missed the soft deadline for whatever reason, but he didn't let that like stop him. He put out this segment just ripping on Page, and I really enjoyed it.
Mickey Kincaid is an interesting character. He and I will do that again. I think he did miss soft deadline, but I love the fact that he turned around and put the effort in to put that promo up within the show itself. Good job, man, and don't worry about it. We just came off of pay per view. You weren't the only one who missed a soft deadline, so it happened. But we'll do it again. Doc, man, we roll into match number 2, which was Kincaid and Chris Page. Let me throw it out to you for a synopsis on how did you view the match? How did it come across? This is one that I wrote, so I kind of know the flow of it. But your Universal Champion, your number 1 gladiator, comes out and puts Kincaid away.
Doc's champion seemed a little close in my taste, even if it was non-title, but definitely a good match. Mickey Kincaid, like you said, he brought it, got put over well. I'm looking forward to another Page Kincaid encounter. I think it would go over really well. And like you said about soft deadlines and stuff like that, hey, it happens. Life gets in the way. I've actually been famous harassing Theo a couple times, being like, "Hey, when is it again?"
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, and kudos to the guy for sticking with his guns and coming out and putting out a badass segment prior to the match. That involvement to me says that it's all about the effort. You know what I mean? If you phone everything in, I'm not going to give you the time that I give somebody that really tries and just if they struggle or do whatever, if they try, it means the world to me because uh, every little piece of this puzzle that is the XWF fits together in one way, shape, or form, and creates the big picture that we all see, every couple of weeks.
Right, I do. Bobby Bourbon,
Yeah.
your thoughts on the Kincaid CCP deal?
Um, I think it would have been a better match if he didn't miss the soft deadline. I thought it was great that he still decided to put out that the promo on the card, so we still got some entertaining. Yeah, it can continue.
TK?
Good match. Kincaid missing soft deadline. We all said it. Me twice now, but I liked the promo work going in. It really showed that he was here to play, and he just made a mistake, and you better give him a rematch. That's all.
Oh, it'll happen. That's why I kind of wrote the match the way that I did. I really felt like that it was just an honest mistake, and I pretty much said it in the comments on the card or the show. If I can write something and you're coming out better, even in a losing effort, you're coming out better on the other end, I'm for it. Doesn't matter. Don't care. Because to me, it's about the end result. The end result was CCP won the match. Uh, I wrote it specifically so Kincaid did look good in defeat because I do think that there's a lot going on with that character, and that he can use this moving forward positively to say that he got in there and took it to CCP for a minute. Uh, so that being said, we go into our next segment of the show is one from Corey Smith, which is um, this was great. I love this the entire flow of this, the down to the meat and potatoes of it. Obviously, there's challenges thrown out to Baphomet, who shut the fuck up and fight, which is kind of the general consensus. The meat and the potatoes is Corey Smith is uh, opting in for the leap of faith. Leap of Faith match at Leap of Faith, where the winner will get a briefcase to challenge for any championship at any point in time. I think with his immediate, I'm doing Leap of Faith, sets the bar really high for whoever else is involved in this contest. Bobby Bourbon.
Yeah, absolutely. Leap of faith should be huge. Corey jumping into it, no pun intended. It makes it, and I'm a lot more excited to see what other names get added to it, and if anybody else comes forward and adds their name to it on a show like this. TK.
Right.
Yeah, Corey throwing his name in the hat for Leap of Faith this early shows everyone that Corey's going to flex that muscle. Bring your A game for Leap of Faith. You're going to need it.
That will lead us into the next match of the night, and match number 3 was my favorite match of the night. This is Lacana and Betsy Granger. And Doc, I want to come to you first, because to me this is a big money match and a big win for Lacana, taking down Betsy. What did you think about this? And kudos to the match writer who put this one together. Really good work.
Well, I think we've all been waiting on that big win for Lycana. She has, when the hell was it? Snow Job? Since Snow Job, she has come into her own. And I've talked before about growth and evolving your character and just kind of adapting to what the XWF, expects out of you to succeed here and everything. I've talked to her off to the side before and everything like that. She's very accepted to, advice, and not that she's a bad writer at all. She's a great writer. But, being a great writer and you come into an environment like this, there's, just like I said before, I had to make adjustments. Everybody has to make adjustments if you want to grow here and everything like that. And I think she has done a phenomenal job doing that. And not taking anything away from Betsy, I just went through March Madness with Betsy. She does phenomenal work as well. I don't feel that Betsy needed this win as much as Lycana did, and Lycana got it, and it's definitely something for her to grow on. That's a big win for her, and I'm looking forward to see what her next step is if she enters herself. I believe she is entering herself into Leap of Faith, perhaps.
Yes, that's a done deal.
Okay, so like the previous segment there with Corey being the first one to come out and say that he's going to be part of that, he set the bar. Everybody knows what Corey does, what he's capable of. There's the bar.
Oh, I misled. I'm sorry, Doc. I don't mean to cut you off. She did not opt in for Leap of Faith. She opted in for the Battle Royal to challenge for the championship at Leap of Faith. My fault.
Okay. A lot of information, so I get a little miscrewed sometimes. But even then, there you go. That is an automatic title shot at Leap of Faith. I think she has a better, good chance as far as anybody to go in there and get the job done. She's evolved so well.
This match was really good. Bobby Bourbon, man, let me come to you, because this was, to me, was the main event's no slouch by any means, but this was definitely the show stealer.
Yeah, this match did steal the show, top to bottom. The action was hot. The theme was great. Lycana pulls out a big win here. Lycana looking pretty strong, and then you further the storyline between Lycana, Granger, and Atara afterwards.
Correct.
Solid match, loved it.
The post match was incredible. TK, where are you at with this one, brother?
I am very proud of both Lycana and Marv, because over March Madness, Marv wins the TV title. Lycana picks up a big victory over Betsy here. Whoever wrote the match, best match on the card, my opinion. They should really pat themselves on the back. The post-match stuff with Lycana saving Betsy from Atara. That's different, right? Because Atara and Betsy are close. They beat the tag team champions together, right? That's a
With
big
no
deal.
trash talk.
Well, they still won.
That's true. A win's a win with no trash talk. I'm not trying to. I'm just being a dick, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, you are. I'm not taking anything away from them. I wasn't able to trash talk, but let's face facts, they never were either. So
Yep.
Sorry, man. That one went down the wrong pipe. I'm interested to see what's going to happen here with Atara and Betsy and what Lacana's in game with that is going to be. Got a Diesel segment, which is kind of in the mix here. He's talking to
the mysterious man who stole him, right, at the pay-per-view.
Yep.
So
we got an interesting little thing going on there. Diesel's within Bob, so is this a Bob thing? Is this guy or girl or whoever? Are they coming after us?
it's got to be, right? Stole a Bob.
I mean, that's not the smartest thing to do. But okay.
it was a Bob robbery.
A bobbery.
It was a robbery gone Bob. After this, we got another segment. This one involving Paul Heyman, who's approaching Ned K and officially, I guess, putting a challenge out there for Ned and Thad, which is going to be, could be a really solid program for the Hearts Championship. Doc, what are your thoughts about that?
I'm looking forward to that. I mean, that always, of course, presents a great challenge, and Ned's up and coming. I feel this is a great challenge for Ned on his way up the mountain. Because Thad's going to bring it. Former uni champ, former partner of mine. Not former partner, but former champion. With me. I know he can bring it, and I know Ned can bring it. I'm looking forward to the program.
Which brought us right into the main event. This was Last Man Standing. Was a return match from excuse me, from March Madness as RL's challenging Ned K. This one went to a double count out. A double count. Neither man was able to answer the count of 10, and of course that doesn't fly well with King Doc. And we have a King Doc decree where King Doc says that will end when the first man stands. What happened
There must
next?
be a winner.
There must be a winner. That won't fly in King Doc's court, man. So as RL's trying to get to his feet, he gets blindsided right as he's getting ready to stand, which leads to Ned being able to stand up to a vertical base and thus retain successfully the Hart Championship. King Doc, let's go to you because you're very instrumental in this not ending in a double countout.
Like I said, there must be a winner, especially in the main event of a Warfare. It's a big moment. And, looking back to March Madness there when Ned won the title, it kind of ended kind of weird too, didn't it?
Yep, a brass knuckle shot.
So that was a big heel turn, and following up on that with this, just can't end with a draw. It can't end in a draw.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I liked about the finish is that it gave it gave King Doc purpose to actually be at Warfare. Up until it just looked like, hey, congratulations, it's pat Doc on the back. He won the King. Let's give him a sword. Here's Bob. We're gonna work for you. Good job, buddy. And that's it. And then the end of the main event, Doc comes in. He's like, no, I'm going to make my presence felt. I'm going to have an impact. I'm not just a fluff piece. Here's the end of the Hart Championship match. No screwing around, guys. I thought it was awesome. Love the match top to bottom. Great Hart storyline going on, which haven't seen that in a while. Good job, Ned. Good job, RL. Good job, Doc, if you had a hand in that too. TK, what'd you think?
It was a fun match. I love the Doc intervening at the end. There's not much more I could say about it, really. You guys nailed everything, so take it away, Paige.
Well, I mean, we end our show with two little segments. Segment number one's us leaving the building, and Robert Maine and Drew are there. They've got baseball bats in hand, and they're looking for a little retribution, if you will, which kind of led into the final segment of the show. It looks like Betsy is trying to recruit RL. In Betsy's eyes, she sees a hero here. So interesting little conclusion to the show itself. Overall, with it being a four-match show, I think it delivered. It was segment heavy, but that was kind of to be expected with just a four-match program. So TK, overall, how would you rate Warfare?
For such a small show, the smallest one we've had to cover so far, I think. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Still took us 40 minutes to run through it, so that was a pretty decent show.
Burbs?
Anything come off a pay-per-view like that is, everybody comes off hard work, over, 2 weeks, a month time.
Yeah, I think it's the nature of the beast when it comes to March Madness. It's the first show after March Madness. It's not going to be a huge show. A lot of people are going to take a little breather and refresh and make sure they don't get carpal tunnel. But the show was still robust. It wasn't long, but it hit notes, and it did what it needed to do to be a show, and everybody's happy with it. I mean, that's all I can say about it.
Sweet deal. Well, first Warfare's in the books, guys. We're gonna move right on into the following night was Anarchy. Well, it was supposed to be the following night, but we got it on a Sunday. But who's counting?
Paige, if you don't mind, I'd like to get the podcast predictions out of the way.
Yeah, since you screwed the pooch last week and forgot, go ahead.
Yep, that's my fault. So, third place, we'll start with third place, with 15 total, right, with 2 pay-per-views in the bag, is TK. Once in first place, now in dead last. Then in second place, we have Bobby Bourbon, who has 16 correct.
Dun, dun.
Which leaves Chris Page at number 1 with 17 picked correctly. So there you go. You're currently sitting atop the podcast predictions.
We know with 20 match shows, man, that's not going to last long.
No, it sure won't. Well, we record on a Sunday, guys, and it's Sunday, and we finally get Anarchy. Here we go. Live from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. We start the show off with Doc coming out to the ring, or coming out to the crowd. Doc, you want to go over some of this?
Absolutely. Looked like Mr. Lamb was opening the show like he normally does. He was pretty excited to looked like Lackland was tied up this evening, so he got to do the show like he would normally like to. Till them trumpets sounded. And, I just had to, King Doc has to make his presence known and come out and enjoy every show. And I don't know, I think Vinny was looking forward to getting the show started too. So it was short and sweet, but grand entrance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The king is here.
Well, we move into our first match with Dean Rose versus Big Preach in an Extreme Rules match, with the referee being Chaz Bobo. Pretty nice match we have here laid out in front of us. Dean Rose goes over. Robbie, what do you think?
I think this was a pretty fun match to read. I mean, it's what you expected to happen, though. Dean Rose goes over on Big Preach. Big Preach, jobber character.
Ah, so is Dean Rose. Sorry. I had to. The door was open. Good back and forth to start off Anarchy. Nice character development win for Dean. And he'll move on to what's next for, Ray Prince and Michelle Gellar.
Doc, you got anything?
Oh, absolutely. No surprise Dean Rose went over here. He's been crazy. He's a crazy guy. Internet champion. Strong presence in the Fed right now. Strong presence on Anarchy.
All right. We got some post-match shenanigans going on here. Demos comes out and zips Big Puddin' into a body bag. I'm not sure quite how that happened, seeing as Big Preach was the one in the match. But nonetheless, that happens. And we move on to our second match of the evening. Terry Borden versus Miss Fury, with Ari Silverstein as the referee, which should turn out nicely for Miss Fury, right?
What do you think?
Yeah. But that's not what happened at all. Solace comes out, causes a distraction, getting Miss Fury's attention, which sets up for a vicious leg drop, right?
1, 2, 3. Terry Borden. Big upset.
Yep.
Bobby Bourbon, man. Borden upsetting Miss Fury.
Huge upset, but I think it all came down to interference from Fatwood.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this story's quite over with. But Borden and Fatwood, they look like a team that's ready to go enter Tag Team Turmoil.
Dun, dun, dun. All right.
Well, Terry Borden going over here was a surprise. I think he's crazy. And looking forward to I think he has a lot more to show us than what he's showing us right now. Going to Tag Team Turmoil with Fatwood there, I think they have a strong chance of maybe seeing them no good bastards down the line.
It's a possibility. Well, let's move on to our next little thing that happens on Anarchy, right? Motivational TED Talk with Jake from State Farm. What we got going on here?
A whole lot of nothing.
But there's a Bop It commercial. Anybody want to?
Oh,
Yeah, like
Twist it, crank it, pull it, bop it, man.
yeah.
Pull it.
Mm-hmm.
Bop it.
That's what she said.
I had one of those.
The fidget tool. Do you have a fidget tool? Like today?
No. Yes.
Put this in the trash.
You put that in the trash. It's where the Bop It belongs. Moving on. Da-dum-dum.
we got Tara Themis coming out. She has some things to say. I suggest you go read Anarchy because it's pretty interesting stuff.
That Atara segment. She touched base with me earlier in the week and asked if Doc would be on Anarchy and such, and didn't really know what was going to come of it. and she totally embraced the Doc there on Anarchy.
I see. Did she give you a statue?
Like a bust of herself.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
This is good shit. And I was gonna pop back up and mention that because it looks like that's what happened here. Did she take a knee?
No, she came out to the ring, and I gave her some rep points the other day because she cracks me up all the time, and I thought her segment was great. Just the interaction with the crowd. I don't know if Vinny's involvement was Vinny just adding shit or her writing it and stuff. But I mean, the whole segment was just very well written. And like I said, the whole reason I'm coming out here and doing what I'm doing is just so people maybe give them something to have a segment about, or just her doing what she did. Who knows what Doc's going to do now?
Well, and this is where we need to throw this out there, and we did it. It was done a little bit on Warfare. I know that I did it a couple of times in the match with Kincaid. If we all know now that King Doc is going to be present at all these events, like if you're a match writer, write cutaways. Cutaway to hit Doc up. What would Doc be doing in this match? Would he be drinking? Would he be having something fed to him? Like hit him up and just do cutaways. Is he gonna be? Does he care about this match at all? Like, there's all kinds of little nuances that you can use to build up the King storyline altogether. And I think that that's something that it's only going to be as good as the time that you put into it. And if you don't put the time into it, you're fucking stupid, because this is going to be really, really, really fun angle.
Yeah, it's not even just about Doc. It's
about everybody else around it.
Right. If somebody can build off of that, just do something stupid or something fun or something serious. I mean, I'll role play with anybody, you know what I mean, and I'll work with anybody. So if it would help you to build off of that, I don't need anything, you know what I mean. Like, I'm not trying to build Doc's story because Doc's talk of the town already, you know what I mean. So it's not like I'm just trying to, I won King of the Ring, so I'm trying to just embrace it and try to make it fed wide, try to have that presence, try to, use it and embrace it. And anybody that wants to be part of it can be, you know what I mean, in any way, shape, or form, whether you want to bend the knee or not, it's fun either way. We can build off of it and make it fun. And Tara come out in Anarchy and just have a short little segment, something fun.
We have Big Money Oswald versus Joey Oddjobs and the Big Ups in a 3-on-1 match with Virginia Hyman as the referee. Ozzy's completely outnumbered here, but he starts beating the fuck out of him, but walks out of the ring and gets counted out, and Joey Oddjobs and the Ups win.
Loss is a loss.
Yeah.
Biggest upset of the decade. Maybe Joey Oddjobs and the Ups have a future at Tag Team Turmoil. Dun dun dun.
Or at least the Ups. At least the Ups. They got a big signature win over Oswald here on Anarchy.
I don't know what to say about Ghost Tank.
It happened the best of us. I mean, we were talking earlier about on Warfare about how Mickey Kincaid, he missed his soft deadline. So again, it happens to the best of us. We didn't expect this from Oswald, but I'm sure he'll make up for it. And if we give him a hard enough time, he'll give us all like different excuses for it. So hey, we have a lot of fun.
It's all out of love, Ghost Tank. It's all out of love, homie.
Then we go backstage to a drunken Boris. And that happened.
Oh, wait. So, he just says sister. Next Terry Borden says brother. I think I know where that's going. That's going to be good. I think if that's what he's doing, that'll be funny. Sorry, go ahead. I just saw that and I was like, well, wait a minute.
Following our Boris segment, we have an Avalanche segment. Another great segment by the podcast zone. Professor Ned K.
Yeah.
Definitely give that a read. It's good stuff. But
Sweet character development.
Sweet character development. But I'm moving right along to the John Black versus Andre Dixon match. HoloRef.gif is the referee. Both men can bring up to 3 people with them to this match. And it can only be won by a pinfall or submission by either Black or Dixon. Really fun match. Who all came out for John Black?
Not as many as
Reggie and Tommy.
Reggie and Tommy? He didn't bring a third? Well, Dixon brings out them no good bastards and Chris Page. That's a pretty good company to have, right?
You're kind of outgunned. I don't know who wrote this match, but it was really, really well done. End of the day, Dixon's picking up this win. Go ahead.
Nessa Jenkins come out with JB.
So that was his third.
Oh, okay. Following that,
Big win for Bob.
Yep, big win for Bob. Went over JB.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Who was undefeated there for a minute, like a good stretch. Didn't that end at the pay-per-view? So he went like 5-6 matches.
Good little run, and I'm sure that he'll take this in stride and turn it into something else. He's always on point.
Mm-hmm. Following that match, we have Scarlett, the Huntress Donaldson, and Chris the Hammer Von Bon versus Ruby and Solace Tandem, with Marty as the referee. And yes, it's the Misfits.
Yep. And again, the Misfits, they're gonna finish this match with their toes pointed towards the ceiling. Ruby again wins on Anarchy, which seems to happen quite often, and teaming up with Solace Tadens.
And then we get. Sorry, go ahead.
Every week, how impressed you are with Ruby's. But again, this is just another staple week. Again, we all talked about how one was after March Madness. Here's Ruby, still being consistent, still being Ruby. Good stuff from out of her.
Paige, you got anything?
Oh, I wrote the match, so I already know how it plays. It was a good. I'm not gonna call it a glorified squash, but it's kind of what it was. So Solace and Ruby took the win and knocked it out. I do have a funny story about this match. Is I got hit up the day of the show, midday-ish. Vinny was asking me if I could pick up this match and write it, and I was like, sure, no problem. I came home and I started working on some other shit and wrote everything but this match. And he messaged me at like 8:00. And I was like, hey, where you at with that match? And oh shit, I haven't even started it. So I threw it together real quick and got it over there to him, thinking that this is what we were waiting on for Anarchy to go up. Lo and behold, if I knew I had an additional 72 hours, I would have probably done a lot more with it. Just saying. I love you, Vinny.
Well, it's Sunday.
It's Sunday.
It's
you know
Sunday.
what that means. Anarchy.
Then we have our main event. Sarah Lackland versus Lord Rab. The referee is Mr. Referee. No holds barred grudge match. You know what, Doc? You do you want to give this a stab?
Well, Lackland's been pretty cocky here lately. As the commissioner of Anarchy, I don't really know what the hell she had really going on there all them weeks, just coming out and doing what she's been doing, just, squashes and whatnot. And it looks like it finally backfired on her. By TKO, as a matter of fact.
It's a pretty big win here for Lord Rab.
Rab skunked Lackland.
Skunked her. Bobby, you got anything?
Victory, like the story that we've been getting for this whole time has been Laughlin. And then comes down to Lord Rob pins her. TKOs her. Like, okay. That happened. That's all I really got to say about that.
Well, following Anarchy, there seems to be an advertisement. Oh, I'm sorry. The mainest event, which has been paid for by the BWO. Tommy Slovino comes out and introduces out Miss Fury. Miss Fury says some things, and then we get another announcement paid for by Theo Price, who is setting up for the BWO's first ever pay-per-view event, Uprising. That's going to come May 9th. You guys were asking last time. Well, now you have your answer.
Not only do you have your answer, you have your main event. It's Fury defending the BWO championship against Terry Borden. Big main event for Bob's first pay-per-view.
Will be huge. It'll be a lot of fun to read.
And Terry Borden do it again?
That's the question, isn't it?
We're going to have to find out on May 9th, apparently, brother. And that concluded Anarchy, guys.
So that's going to take us straight to Saturday Night Savage, live from the Webster Bank Arena in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now, the first thing that we notice is we do have a little poster here, not a little one. It's a very nice, well put together one. The XWF Double Jeopardy match for the Splat Multi-Universal Championship. Lash Donahue versus Ruby. It's scheduled for April 10th, but I think we'll learn more about this as it unfolds. The first match on our end of the night, Slash Hopkins versus Sill versus the Predator. 3 newcomers make their debut in this 3-way no-holds-barred match. No countouts, no disqualifications. Anything goes. Who has what it takes to stand out amongst the freshest blood in the XWF? If these are all newcomers and we don't know who they are, it's hard for me to make any kind of prediction. So I'm just going to say good luck, gentlemen. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. And, any words of wisdom from the very tenured guest that we have with us today? Doc, do you have anything to say to 3 newcomers having their first match in the XWF?
I always look forward to seeing like new talent come in, seeing what they have to offer. So far, what I've seen, it looks like it's going to be a good match. I think Sill and Predator already made their presence known here, and I'm looking forward to see what else they have to bring.
Good call. So the next match is going to be Ash Quinn versus Owlman. Singles match. Ash Quinn makes her XWF return and takes on the debuting Owlman. Well, I have thoughts on this match. If Ash Quinn shows up, this could be a good match. TK, what do you think?
I think you're absolutely correct. Ash, if she comes back full force like she was before she went out, Owlman might have a little bit of trouble on his hands.
Gotcha. Doc, what do you think?
I think if anybody shows up, it's going to be a good show. I mean, that's all it takes around here is just show up, put yourself out there, put in some work, and you never know what's going to come out of it. You know what I mean? Just be confident and write your ass off. And Ahmed's a newcomer, and Ash Quinn has a presence already in the XWF here. She has some background, so uh, use everything that you've had. All the obstacles and everything you've had come your way before, and use it against this new guy, man.
Paige?
Well, it's gonna be interesting. You've got your first two matches on the card are featuring 4 newcomers, which that's always good to see. It's really going to be about what they bring to the table. Of those 4 newcomers, I think 3 of them showed up, so it's always good numbers to see too. If Ash shows to potential, we got a match here. If not, then Owlman, which I saw as first, and I dig it. Um, Owlman could start off on start off his XWF career on some winning ways.
Yeah. So that leads us into and this looks like a really awesome match. I need to go to the. I actually need to read these RPs because these guys are definitely they're on the horizon. Some look like I know that sounds ridiculous to say because we talk about them a lot, but they've been coming up a lot this episode. Dean Rose versus Andre Dixon, dog collar match, old school, brutal, grimy. Shots were fired and answered quickly. Ever impressive Andre Dixon looks to bounce back after March Madness when he takes on the outspoken FPJ Slade, XWF Internet Champion Dean Rose. The first to drag their opponent and slap all 4 turnbuckles consecutively is the winner. Now, historically, this is a match that injured Greg the Hammer Valentine and Rowdy Roddy Piper at Starrcade. Love it. I love how old school it is. I'm excited for this one. Doc, what do you think about it?
I think this is the perfect stimulation for these two guys. I mean, we talked about Dean Rose earlier. He's a firecracker. He's made his presence known in the XWF as well as Andre Dixon. And, for Dixon, he had a great showing at March Madness. He's spatting off some shit too. Some self-proclaimed king garbage that I don't really know a whole lot about, but it's just come from King Doc, But I think a dog collar match. I think these two guys are really tear into this one. You know what I mean?
Sure. TK, your thoughts?
This is one that I'm excited for. The match itself, I love the fact that it's a dog collar match, like you, Bobby, just real old school and grimy. Yeah. This the I'm gonna read the role plays to this. This is going to be good stuff. Paige.
Oh, Dixon's gonna walk away with this. There's no doubt about it. No disrespect to Dean Rose. We've seen the role plays. This isn't anarchy. 1,000 words isn't going to get the job done. So really and truly, it really depends on what he makes of this opportunity that's been put in front of him.
It's a hot take. So that leads us into Champ Sportsman versus Jenny Mist. Rage in a cage. Both of these competitors have a chance to take out some aggression in a match that surrounds them. In steel, a barrel filled with you name it is placed in the center of the ring, and it's up to these two to take advantage of it. No rules except to get out of the cage. First one out wins. So the barrel is going to have everything in it. This is going to be a really fun match to read. I look forward to reading it. Paige, what do you think about it?
It's going to be a breakout moment. Jenny Mist is signed up for the Battle Royal, the Leap of Faith Battle Royal, so she's almost in a position to where she kind of has to win to build some momentum. Champ Sportsman, this will be the third appearance for him. He's a good read. He's got his work cut out for him if he's going to come in and try and tackle Jenny Mist.
Yeah,
True.
I'm with you on that. Champ could do it. I think Champ could do it, but Ginny can't too. I just hope somebody pulls out something ridiculous out of the barrel. Personally, like a Sherman tank or something. Roll over the fucking cage and just stroll out. That's me.
They pull out a bag of Lego. No, Tinker Toys. Doc, what do you think?
We can never count Jenny out. I think she's looking. I think Jenny needs some redemption. She's in a low spot here. I mean, she had a strong showing at March Madness, but I think this match was made for her. Take out some rage, and Champ the same way. He was in the second chance battle royal. I think he shows potential. This could be a really good match. I'm also looking forward to see what these two pull out of that barrel. I think it's completely up in the air what could possibly be in this barrel.
Well, it's you name it. That's what I think. That's the fun there. I hope that both competitors in this match are having a great time, having fun with what could be in the barrel. So I know if I was in this match, that stipulation, half of my storyline, half of my RP would be just about anything I could pull out of that barrel. Like it could be just like, here's a tin of smoked herring, and I'm going to do violence against you with it. That sounds awesome. So that leads us up to the Extreme title match. Did anybody else have anything to say about Sportsman versus Mist?
I'm good.
All right. So that leads us over to our Extreme title match. Atar Athenas versus Alias. The title is on the line in this Extreme Rules match. Atara is looking to stop Alias in his quest for the ever-so-elusive XWF 24/7 briefcase in Alias's fourth title defense. Can Alias keep his streak going and hold on to the title? Or is it Atara's time to grab the gold? I'm kind of picking Alias on this one. No offense to Atara. Alias has a hot hand. It's why I like going to play with Alias championship board. I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna pin him for it, but that's fun to do. TK, what do you think of the move? I know you like it, so what shoot you?
I think this could be a good match. Atara has already put out something pretty good. I won't lie, I haven't read all the material that's out there, but I read hers, and it was pretty good. So, I'm not going to give a prediction or anything. So, I think this is going to be a fun match to read, though. Paige.
Well, this would be probably arguably one of the toughest tests for Alias to date, as far as the challengers for the Extreme title is concerned. I haven't read the work yet between either one of them. I'll wait until they're done and then go through and check those out. I'm not going to do a prediction either. Like I said, it's really going to be contingent on what both of these guys and girl bring to the equation. This should be a really good read regardless.
Doc, what do you think about the Extreme Championship?
Well, the Doc has already expressed his appreciation and adoration for Atara Themis, but the King is unbiased. Looking at this match, I'm again, a lot of these matches I'm looking forward to. This is one of the top ones as well. Alias has been hot. It's got the hot hand. Can't count Atara out though, and I've seen hot hands go cold before, so we'll see if Alias has what it takes to, march on and get that briefcase.
What?
I don't mean to step in on you, Bob's, real quick. I just got confirmation that the Splat Multiverse Championship match is taking place on this Savage one that we're talking about now. That match is happening.
Go Ruby.
This card went out about 4 stars.
Yeah, that just came in, so that's a thing. So definitely go Rubes. We're pulling for you to bring home that Multiverse Championship.
Indeed.
Bring it home, Rubes.
Let's go, Ruby. Let's go, Ruby. All right, that leads us to our Universal Championship match. Mr. Demos, aka Charlie Nichols, aka I don't know, probably your guy who orders the salami sandwich when he goes to the deli. Who cares? Versus Bob's own Chronic Page. Got to go with the Chronic one. So, hey. Singles match. The aftermath of March Madness has left Chris Page looking over his shoulder at every turn as he returns to Savage to defend his title against the very hungry Demos. Demos made it in the finals of March Madness through the Second Chance Battle Royale and is looking to redeem himself by taking the most prestigious title in the universe. So, Paige, why don't you guide us through your thoughts and feelings on since this is your match?
Well, I mean, it's Demos has been a dominant figure since he came in the Fed a year ago at Relentless, right? He came in and dealt with Sarah Lackland, and since then has kind of built his credibility up as a player. He's got this opportunity. We'll see what he can do with it. I will say this: in character, he would have a better shot if it was a battle royal. That's about it. I'm looking forward to seeing what else he brings to the table, and we'll see how this one shakes and how this one plays out. I will tell you this though, as an in character statement as well, and this is directed towards Karen Hunt and Mr. Big. They don't know how to book a legitimate champion. Chris Page does not come and defend a belt, not be in the main event. So if he's not in the main event and he's not headlining your show over Marf and Clint Fatwood, he will be kicking off your show and asking all of your talent to follow it.
That's hot. That's a hot take. TK?
Well, Chris Page versus Demos. It's going to be fun. Right now, currently on the boards, Page is up on role plays. The stories of both men have been enjoyable to read. Demos was a really good television champion. So yeah, this thing's going to be fun. I can't wait to read the outcome of this.
Oh, same here. Demos has been saying some very fascinating things about him.
Yeah, he's been saying fascinating things about TK too.
He's almost like he's made you guys the focal point of his stuff.
That's because we're that damn fascinating.
I'm just saying, I didn't know if you guys knew this or not, but and Doc, I don't know if you know this or not, but fun fact, did you know that Demos has thrown out Bobby Bourbon, Miss Fury, PK, Andre Dixon in a battle royal of some form or fashion? Did you know that?
That's a fun fact.
You know how I know that that's a fun fact?
About myself, I really
It
like
happened? I don't know.
so much that I will sit there and I will reread them 8 times in a row. But on that note, Doc, what do you think of the match?
It's a stellar match. I mean, Deimos has been a presence and has not stopped being a presence in some way, shape, or form since I remember. I come back August-ish, and I remember Charlie Nichols. That was Charlie Nichols and Lackland at Relentless, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so right there, seeing him put out universal level capacity role plays, and ever since then, he's how many titles? Just a television title, or
Had
yeah?
the heavy metal weight and he had the featherweight or featherweight,
Interaction,
excuse me.
There's that presence. You know what I mean? He's always pissing around on the boards, always pissing people off. He had that metamorphosis, whatever you want to say it. Into Deimos. It's character development. Guy's always thinking, always involved in titles. Like I said, he was in March Madness, lost in round one, come back in the second chance battle royal. I called it in a role play saying that I'll see Deimos again in the finals, which I did. Then you got Chris Page, Doc's champion, come out to a strong lead, come out, strong as always. I think if you remember back high stakes there, I messaged out a character there, and with your first role play you posted, I said, "All right, you set the bar."
Yeah, and I knew I was fucked then too.
You did it.
Yeah, I knew
But
I was fucked when that happened.
On anybody out of this match, Page knows what he's doing. Deimos, I don't. One of my questions was for him if he was here was how he got involved in the thing, how long he's been doing it, what drew him to the XWF. So I was curious about his background and everything like that. Because we know about Page's background. He's long XWF, and I think this is a chance for Deimos to shine, if any. You know what I mean? Now's the time. Do it. Come out, and if you want to take anybody down, you want to make a statement. Chris Page has got to do it. Take the Universal title.
I think that this happening on a Savage, it is a what do you got moment. It's a gut check for Deimos, and also I think for Page. And that's not. I'm not saying that as a slight to either man. I think this is a chance for both guys to really have to get in there and put the crayons to chaos and make some magic happen. And so you can actually let's see who's the most entertaining between the two of you. Right now, everybody's winning, so good job, guys. That's going to lead us into our main event, which is the television title. Clint Fatwood versus Marv. 15-minute time. The television title is on the line in this Savage main event. Marv picked up his first title at March Madness after defeating Damon. And he brings it home as Savage's champion, where he defends against the God-loving, Texas-grubbing, stiff-chopping Clint Fatwood. So, TK, you are the former television champion. Tell us more about this match.
Marv coming off of that victory at March Madness, big deal, but he's got to get back to work now. It's time to get back to work. You got Clint Fatwood sitting right in front of you. You can't slouch on him. You have to show everyone why you're the champion now. Really, really get in there and do the work. That's what the television title is all about. I think this is going to be a great matchup. Show us what both guys have. Paige, what do you got?
I mean, you summed it up pretty well. This is Fatwood's making his debut in ring. Going up against Marv, who just come off this win over Ash Quinn on Warfare, and just another big win at the pay-per-view over Demos to take the championship. It's anytime you're TV champion or Heart champion for that matter, it's kind of like, or champions period. It's almost like it's nut up or shut up. You're a champion for a reason. They got to show why. In this situation, Marv is coming in, taking on an unknown outside of what we've seen in segments on the last couple of shows, introducing the character of Clint Fatwood. It'll be interesting to see. My eyes on it for sure, but it's no Chris Page and Demos.
Oh man, Paige, that whole last line that was a beautifully said until the last line where it became the very definition of autofellatio. So, Doc, do you have any thoughts?
Well, absolutely. Like I said, I look forward to a lot of matches on this card, the whole card in general. I think Martha, defending his title, his Bruce Lee title, his first title against Clint Fatwood, is a great chance for him to solidify that. Because as Savage's champion, he deserves to show that he can defend that title every week in the main event, and be that presence that Savage needs to carry that title forward.
Here, Doc. Here, fucking here.
I mean, what I like about that and that whole statement is that the television title, it's not just booked over the uni; it's booked over the uni and the Extreme title, both. So, yes, that's well done. Well done, whoever booked the
I
card.
was just being a douchebag because my character's a heel.
Yeah, I know.
It's just kind of what I do, but you don't have to make me feel bad. Don't make me feel bad for playing the character a little bit.
No. I'm not railing on you for playing your character. I'm just saying, just like the storytelling there, where we want the TV title to be the title.
I was just reading the match, taking the championship home to Savage as Savage's champion. I didn't mean to make it feel bad.
I mean, I'm just saying that Clint Fatwood and Marv is no Chris Page and Demos.
Absolutely not.
It is no Alias and Atara. Matter of fact, you can go tell Karen Cunt that it's barely an Andre Dixon Dean Rose. You go tell Karen and you go tell Mr. Big that came from the champ. All right, I'm through with that. I'm just playing. I guess that's went a little too far. Sorry, guys. That was fun.
No, you're good, brother.
It's
So
fun.
that's Savage for us. Do we want to go over Warfare?
Yeah, we're gonna move into Warfare. We're gonna get this show covered real quick. We've got Warfare's emanating live from Portland, Oregon. We're going to the Moda Center. Looking at our opening match on this card is going to be Ash Quinn, who's she's making moves. Here she is on Savage, and she's turning right back around in his own Warfare on the 21st. Ash and Mikey Kincaid, and his name is spelled correctly this time. TK man, Ash Quinn and Mickey. What do you think?
Mickey's a solid competitor, and Ash Quinn, she's going to have to rise to this one. I
You think she'll get? Do you think she'll get a rise out of Kincaid?
Maybe. With a name like that, you'd assume it, right?
Bourbon, opening match, Extreme Rules.
So just looking at this match, it has potential. I think it's going to be fun to read. I'm going to pick Kincaid. Deal with it.
Doc, and I'm sure your presence will be felt in Portland, Oregon.
I'll be there. Like I said before about Ashland, previous card, if she brings it to the show, never count her out. However, Mickey Kincaid, I like this character. I like what he's brought so far. I think he's still looking for his first win as of this moment. I don't know if he's booked anywhere else prior to this, but uh, I think that guy definitely shows promise.
Rolling into your next match, it's a March Madness tournament rematch. It's going to be held under Fury rules. It's Sean Wilde taking on Miss Fury, and Miss Fury will have Chris Page in her corner with or without the Universal Championship. Thunder Knuckles.
Yeah, this one should be a fun one. Rematch from March Madness round 1, was it? I can't remember
Yes.
if it was 1 or 2. Should be interesting. With the Chris Page element, makes it even more interesting.
Bobby Bourbon.
This match is going to be. I look forward to reading it. I look forward to seeing Sean Wilde's work. He had a great showing in March Madness. I want to see I want to see him follow up with that. Doc.
I like Sean Wilde. I think he puts in a lot of good work. I think he's looking for his big break. Miss Fury's definitely a big break if you can pull that off. I muck out over Miss Fury as of late, just the work they put in, everything like that. So definitely a match I'm looking forward to.
Running into your next match is also representing as a Bob representative. This was a challenge match. Michael McBride making his return to the XWF. I'm not too familiar with the guy or his work, but he's stepping in there with Andre Dixon, and Dixon will also have Chris Page in his corner. Steel cage, Bobby Bourbon.
It's going to be cool to see McBride back. He goes back in the Fed like years. I want to say he was here before I was. I don't know. Doc might be able to fill us in. Doc, do you remember when McBride got here? Was he here when you were here?
I think he was here before I was. At least as Michael McBride. I know he's had two characters aside from him, but he was definitely here when I got here.
All right. Yeah, seeing him return is going to be cool. Him versus Dixon, I think they can tear it up. I think in a steel cage, whoever has fun writing that match is going to have a lot of fun. TK, what do you think?
Michael McBride's coming back to celebrate, guys. Celebrate his entrance into the top 50, if I recall correctly. So he's got a name up in front of him. Yep. He's got a name in front of him on this one in a steel cage that could elevate him further up that list.
All right.
King Doc.
My turn?
Michael McBride, Andre Dixon, steel cage match. Your thoughts?
Sorry, cut out, brother. McBride and I go way back. Like I said to Bobby there, I think he was here when I got here. When he's here, he's a presence. He likes getting involved in everything like that. Fun to work with. I'm glad to see him back for sure. I'm always glad to see guys come back. This place is great, and to go up against Andre Dixon, we all know Andre Dixon was here before and everything like that. I'm sure maybe even Michael McBride knows about his, Andre Dixon's previous tenure here. So they might have some, background story we don't really know about. I'm looking forward to that too.
We move into semi-main event, which this could easily have main evented any show in my eyes. Betsy Granger taking on Red Hot Corey Smith. Bobby Bourbon, man, let me get your thoughts on this one.
Mouth is watering. This match looks epic. I look forward to reading all the work that goes into this one. Huge fan of Corey. I like Betsy.
I think that this will be a really, really. This is a part of it's one of those things where if you look at the card and you see Extreme Rules, then Fury Rules, then Steel Cage, and then you get to standard match. By the time you get to that standard match, you're expecting the big performers who don't need like a gimmick to get the match hot. Like, and that's in like real wrestling terms. So when you see these two names doing that, that's some gravity, and that speaks towards both of the players and the expectation we all have for them to really like. We know that they can bring the house down, that they can have a great match. I look forward to it. Pick and Corey. Doc, you have any thoughts?
How's this going down on cable television? Betsy, several feds, has a presence everywhere. Had a great show in March Madness, and of course Corey's had his time here and everything like that, and just coming off being tag team champion. Big wins over over several guys prior to that. Definitely a main event style match.
TK.
When you see a match like this on a card and you're not expecting it, your jaw kind of hits the fucking desk, right? Like, holy shit. I didn't think I'd see that on, like, Warfare. You know what I mean? Kind of like what Doc said. This is what I'm really looking forward to a lot. I mean, my eyes are definitely on the tag team turmoil match, but this could main event for sure.
Well, that leads us to Tag Team Turmoil, which is your main event slot. You've got your special guest commentators, the reigning XWF World Tag Team Champions, them No Good Bastards, will be in attendance. We're going to see the Dream of Maniacs. We're going to see RL Edgar and Demos. We're going to see the Descendants. We're going to see the Thugs, Disingenerators, and we're going to see Steven Cooper and Eobard Stone from the Avalanche faction. This is good tag team turmoil. This is going to determine who's challenging for the tag titles at Leap of Faith. You start with two teams. Once a team's pinned or forced into submission or disqualified, counted out, they're eliminated. They're gone. Another team enters the fray at random. Let me throw out to the tag champions first. Burbs, you're looking at your next challengers for the tag titles is on this list. Who you got, man? And who are you looking forward to seeing compete here?
Edgar and Demos. Just a quick answer is Edgar and Demos. The dissensions, like actually, given some things that have unfolded recently, the dissensions would also be a pretty hot pick too. Marf and Lycana. One's the TV champ. One just came off of a big win against Betsy Granger. So I think that's somebody to look out for. JB might have something up his sleeve too after that match he had with Dixon. So from a character standpoint, the Thugs have every reason to want to get their hands on the No Good Bastards. I know I threw some material up against the Disintegrator because I could. And maybe they'll show up to play. Who knows? We'll see.
TK.
I just want to kind of go in character for a second and say, fuck the Disingenerators. 100%. They couldn't hold our jock. Anyway. Out of character. This is going to be fun. We have a lot of good teams. But I think people are sleeping on the Dream of Maniacs. For real. Like, comedy bit, blah, blah, blah. But if these teams aren't careful, they could fall victim to that comedy team. Just saying.
Doc.
Paul, as a former unbeaten tag team champion that I am, I gotta agree with TK. You can't sleep on the Dream of Maniacs. Terry Board just come off a big win, and speaking of comedy and stuff like that, it is all about entertainment. you're looking to just get somebody over, win somebody over, and just be better at this than somebody else. So, whatever route you want to take, whether it's comedy, horror, violence, story, whatever you want to do, that's what's great about the XWF, so can't count anything out. Edgar and Danos, both guys, Edgar, hard champion, uh, coming into his own all the time. Damos, talked about him enough. And it's, of course, the Descendants. I mean, those guys, I can't say enough about Hana, the way she's grown over the last couple of months. And, of course, Marf getting his first title, win the TV championship against Damos, which is a huge win. And, JB, the Thugs, always a presence in the tag team division. It seems like always there, always looking for a challenge. Looking forward to them. The Disintegrators, I'll stand by TK and say fuck the Disintegrators. And Stephen Cooper and Bart Stone, they're new. I don't really know what to expect from those guys. Coming from Avalanche, that's a big big storyline coming, as well. So looking forward to see what they have to bring too. I think the No Good Bastards have a quite a match to look forward to see what the next challenge will be.
It's going to be a really good couple of shows coming up, and then all roads. Obviously, we're headed towards Leap of Faith, which I guess is still apparently happening from the goddamn moon. We'll have by the end of this cycled series, we'll know who your challengers for the tag titles are going to be. No, Alpha Savage, the winner of the uni match, is moving into a match with RL 2 weeks after this to set up for Leap of Faith to see who the Universal Champion is going to be going into that pay-per-view. We'd be remiss if we didn't take a moment to talk about the Leap of Faith Battle Royal that's booked to take place and be taking place on Dolly Waters' Shove It show. That card will be coming out probably a week from Saturday or so. But before we get there, I want to bring in RL Edgar, who also is handling Dolly Waters, who will be running this particular show, to talk about this battle royal and just exactly the what it means to win it. You're talking about challenging for the Universal Championship at Leap of Faith. RL, are you there?
I'm here briefly, gentlemen. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Your Majesty.
No problem, man.
Good to see you.
Mr. Edgar.
What's up, Oral?
As always. The Battle Royal, real excited and kind of honored that got kind of sprung onto this on my Shove It. So I plan to plans to be a fun show, and we've got some great people who've opted in already. So it's really looking forward to see how that shakes out. I mean, the names that have entered for the Battle Royal option, any one of those competitors could very likely win first the Battle Royal and then seriously win the Universal title at Leap of Faith. So it's exciting.
Who do you got already signed up? Go ahead and run those list of names real quick.
Let me pull it here, fellas. I've got it on a doc. So right now we've got Mickey Kincaid.
Doc.
A Google Doc, yeah. So we've got Mickey Kincaid, Robert Main, Jenny Mist, Lycana, and the Impossible Traveler, Betsy Granger. So I mean, like I said, that's a stacked little battle royal already, and I'm hoping to get a few more names in there.
So we're gonna put it out there now. This is a call to anyone within the shot of our voice. We'd love to have 10 people show up for this thing and get involved, if not more. Ideally, obviously, the more the merrier. You're looking at 3 role plays, unlimited words. The winner of this will move on to Leap of Faith and either challenge myself or Demos or RL Edgar for the Universal Championship. So the door's wide open for anybody that wants to get in on this and get that shot. Bobby Bourbon, and we'll throw it over to you first. And with this battle royal being for a shot at the top championship, man, those are some pretty solid names to just start out with.
That's true. I think that more's going to unfold before I want to lay any kind of opinion about this match. But just by the names you've mentioned, it's going to be a hot match. It's going to be a lot of fun to read what's going into it. And there's going to be a lot of buzz and a lot of talk about what's happening within the match. So yes, I definitely look forward to that. TK?
Well, you know what I would like to see? I'd like to see a couple of these new guys get in there and lay waste to some of the bigger names. Wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah.
Some of these, like Slash Hopkins, the Predator dude,
Seal.
Yeah. They could do it. They could pull right in there and get themselves a shot.
The opt-in's going to be up for a while, everybody. So just come, if you want to get in, it's your chance.
King Doc, are you going to be on hand to witness the Battle Royale?
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there like I normally am at every show, observing, hanging out, having a great time, rooting for everybody because I am the unbiased king. I may even participate in the show, not necessarily the Battle Royale, but who knows what could happen. This card is looking extravagant. Very much looking forward to it. As far as the Battle Royale goes, if you look back at high stakes, man, as best Battle Royale we had, it was for the Universal title. It's for a shot at the Universal title. Anything can happen. I encourage anybody that can get involved because anything can happen, and this could be your shot.
Question: will the King have any special guest observing this historic confrontation?
The Battle Royale?
Yes.
Anyone's welcome on the King's throne.
If Chris Page is still the Universal Champion, he would love to observe this contest with the King.
Bring some Tangeray.
We can make that happen.
Sounds good.
And something too, I forgot to point out that Alias, if you read the opt-in, so if he's not champion, if he's not still Extreme Champion by the time of this Rumble, he's going to be in the Rumble along with those others. So that's something to really look out for.
Big deal there.
And the names are a who's who. Let's get some more people in the mix, and it's your opportunity. Step up and show up and show out. If the one thing that the XWF does afford is opportunity. So if you don't take it and then you want to bitch behind closed doors about it, fuck off, because this is the opportunity.
Well, that's the perfect segue. That's the perfect segue into some questions.
All right, we're getting ready to roll into some questions, some impromptu questions from our very special impromptu guest, Doc. First of all, man, thank you for jumping in last minute here and stepping in and being a really good guest for us today. We'll go ahead and announce that after every pay-per-view, we do have a special guest. Doc was the special guest that was supposed to be for Leap of Faith, and that will still happen. So we'll get a questions thread up for the Fed, so you guys can pick the brain of one of the goats as far as the XWF is concerned. Doc, first question for you, man. Fuck, marry, kill. DK, Bourbon, Chris Page. Go.
Well, TK's a freak, so fuck him. Robert Bourbon. I've always been a bourbon man. I believe I've said that before. I'll stay by it. So I'm married to Robert Bourbon. I'm going to kill Chris Page.
Well, you fucking suck.
This
Next
is
question.
This is the
Next
first
question.
time I didn't die, for the record.
Where do we honeymoon?
Niagara Falls.
Ah. All right.
Been there. I've never been there, so I don't know. Canada side.
Oh, okay. That's where they have the Marvel virtual roller coaster.
That's where Weasley go.
Hey, July 1st, where I live, it is. Ain't I great? So, actually, I have a good question. Actually, I think it's a good question. It could be a shitty one, but we're going to ask it anyways. All time, what's your favorite wrestling match?
Like, out of the spectrum.
Yeah, just in general. WCW, WWE, anything.
That's kind of a off the top of my head question. So off the top of my head, I'm gonna have to say Steve Austin versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13.
That's a good call.
As a child, that was very impactful for me because back then, I'd admit, you kind of knew what was going on, but you really didn't. Made it a little bit more special. And that was a very special pay-per-view for me as well. I was a huge Undertaker mark back then. That's when he beat Psycho Sid for the WWE title there, and that was a cool deal.
I got one for you, Doc. Could you try to characterize your overall experience in the XWF in one word?
Splendid.
Splendid. Okay.
Doc, if you had a dream match that you've with someone you've not hooked up with fighting wise, would it be and why?
Hard one because I just like people. Robert Durbin's brought it up enough times. Him and I have not got 1v1. So that would be important. I think we can make something very special out of that. No, I really don't know because as far as I've never really had an interaction with Chris Page per se, so it could be bound to happen and stuff. But say it's a dream match or bound to happen, just kind of two different things. The same with Robert Maine. I've never had a one-on-one versus Robert Maine, but say it's a dream match. Say it's something I'm driving for. Two different things. That's a hard question.
Well, I know it's putting you on the spot. It's just one of those. It's one of those situations.
There's matches I'm looking forward to, but I just expect them to happen eventually. It's like a pipe dream, per se. I guess a dream match would be, something that just, kind of not around the corner would be a match with TK because I like TK style and, he's a noted bastard. I've faced him in, tag team competition, everything like that. He's definitely fun to work with. Yeah, TK.
Well, I've got a good one for you. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Oh, it's totally gonna be my next question, motherfucker.
also a hard question because I borrow for both, but I'm going to go with Mortal Kombat.
Fatality. You're Mount Rushmore of e-fetters. Yeah, can be current, can be retired. Give me, your top 5.
Vinny Lane, Gator, Warfare Angel, Barney Green. Give me a moment.
You're fine.
This is a tough one.
Oh, there's many names going through my head here. It's just like, man, who's going to stick out here?
You're fine.
I'm going to give Trax a shout out for Robbie Bourbon. He deserves a Mount Rushmore spot, I believe. That guy's a staple when he was here. He put out some fucking crazy work. Like, should make me sweat for sure.
All right, Burbs. Now you can roll with your questions.
Yeah, sorry about that. Doc, what's your favorite book?
My favorite book I ever read was Fight Club at the moment.
Nice. And all right. Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Pass that one.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, what's your favorite Batman movie?
Dark Knight, I think. One with the Joker here recently.
Yep, good call.
I like Christian Bale Batman probably the most, and Heath Joker is just stellar. I think that's the best one. Tough call too. I also like Pain, but I think that one sticks out to me. I also like Batman Returns.
Well, we know that this year is definitely going to be the year for the XWF. So, based off of where we are right now, what do you see happening throughout the rest of the year here?
I hope I don't even know, because I'm a little surprised as far as the shit goes. I'm already surprised as hell. I said before in the podcast how great this place is right now. It's the best I've ever seen it. So I can only hope that it's just even better down the road because we're thriving. I think I've seen a lot of different stages of this Fed where it's been mediocre, it's been at its low, it's been at its high. What was considered high at the time, but I think we blew that out of the water just in this past year, just with the members, how the community, just how everybody's interacting, the storytelling, just everything. It's definitely the best I've ever seen it, and I hope we can just grow on that and become even better than what the top is right now.
Guys, you guys got anything else?
If you could make a trade where you give Doc to another handler to play forever, and they give you their character to play forever, who would you exchange with and why?
I've always flirted around the idea of taking over the Game Girl or Game Boy character because I was so in love with that type of style of writing character when it was being done that I would love to write something like that myself. Who wants to write Doc? But That's who I would take. I would take Game Boy, Game Girl.
What do you think makes a great e-fetter from a not so great e-fetter?
Creativity. You can put on a promo. You can sit down and just bitch somebody out, talk trash, do whatever you want. But if that's all it is, okay. But as for I always look for creativity. I always look for somebody that just kind of stands out. You got to be better than the guy next to you, type of thing. So everybody's curious about a rubric or algorithm or something like that goes into what people look for as far as winning matches and stuff like that. It's a standout for sure.
All right, I got one more for sure. Who has been your favorite opponent to work against, and who has been your favorite person to work with?
Those are hard questions. I've had it's hard to break away from what I just did with Continuum because it was state of the art. It was something new for me. Uh, the environment that I put Doc in as a major heel against two guys that are obvious baby faces and stuff was just a great arc. I had a lot, still had a lot of fun with it. From before high stakes, just talking with that leading up to this, just storytelling and everything, it has been so much fun. Another person I really enjoyed working with is someone I don't want to get credit for right now, but it's something that put me out of a slump that I work well with. That they were on me at one point, hinting, but it opened up a lot of doors. As far as like talk about evolution and stuff. Like you can't just be the same person in the XWF, but there's got to be a point where you take a step. And everything changes. You always got to keep up, and things always change. So you got to change along with it if you want to remain relevant. And I felt, and I talked about it before. I think when Ned K was on the podcast, one question that was asked to him about collaboration and stuff like that, and I talked about just working with someone, how it could help you just by getting feedback from someone else, or just sharing ideas, or just using someone else's ideas, or getting into someone else's story, can help give your character a different direction or an up, just an up, because all it takes, for me, at one point when I was into something, because all it took was watching a movie. Oh fuck! All of a sudden, 1,000 ideas pop into your head. You know what I mean? Just because you almost related to it a little bit. What was the second part?
I think you got the second part. Who's your favorite person to work with?
Oh, okay, yeah. Story arc, favorite person. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yep.
That's going to wrap it up for another episode of the XWF podcast. Once again, Doc, man, thank you for taking the time to hang out with us for a couple hours this evening. Impromptu as it was, really appreciate you coming on. I know TK and Bobby appreciate it as well. Guys, let me go back to you, Doc. Again, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. I usually listen in anyway, so there's nothing to hang out with you guys, real this time. So, thank you again.
Thank you, Doc.
Always a pleasure.
You eating, Bobby?
Of course.
Love you for that, man. All right, guys, y'all have a great night, man. We'll see you next week. Our next guest on the podcast is going to be Centurion. again, Doc, we say it all the time, man. Thanks. You keep doing you, and we're gonna keep reading. Everybody else, man, y'all have a great night.
One last thing. Sean Warstein.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh, edit that out. Edit that out.
Good show, old friend.
Let's send this over to Vinny Lane. Any parting words for us, sir?
All right, guys. Well, once again, for today and forever, as always, fuck you, Ghost Tank.
Thanks for listening to the XWF podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the XWF YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at XWF1999. And don't forget to check us out at XWF99.com. Be sure to join us next time where the action never slows down.